Oh, I hope you're all having a wonderful day, because I'm gonna ruin it, baby. Oh, ask Reddit. I don't know if I've ever done it. So anyway, let's jump right in and see what the hell's going on over there. Reddit, how would you feel about a law that bans radio stations from playing commercials with honking, beeping, or siren noises in them? Well, I cannot believe that they have ever been allowed. Quite frankly, I don't understand how anyone in their right mind thinks it's clever or funny or smart in any way to put car crash sounds or honking or sirens in their radio ads. I would feel like, finally, lawmakers taking the public's issues to heart. Yeah, I can't imagine anyone reading this question and saying, nah, I don't want to give up those split seconds of panic thinking an emergency vehicle is right up my ass. Edit. Apparently everyone here thinks they alone, are responsible for their safety and the safety of the people riding with me. There are stupid or old people on the roads that will hear a commercial like that and for a split second think it's real, and possibly react in a dangerous way. Just because you're a genius that never makes a mistake doesn't mean the people you share the road with are too. Exactly, nothing like a heart attack in the morning. I agree. Any ad for an auto service shop that plays squealing brakes or ominous engine sounds as well. There's an auto shop near me with an LED sign. Sometimes they have police lights flashing red and blue or promoting state car inspections. I hate that sign driving home at night. It looks like there's a cop behind me. I was driving one day and listening to a very popular radio station in my region, and I saw all the cars around me on the highway swerve a little bit when a commercial with sirens came on. Very dangerous stuff if you ask me. Edit. In the city close to where I live, Carnival is very popular and very well known. For about 1 month each year, the festival gets their own radio station with loud, obnoxious party music that is quite funny. Swerve is maybe an exaggeration, but I saw the reaction of many drivers in my vicinity since the siren came on quite loud after the news bulletin. Psychology is everything in the world of sales and advertising and all that, and I understand that you need to be catchy and you need to be quick, but honking horns and sirens and car crash sounds are absolutely the stupidest way to do that on radio. It's always in the car, don't delude yourself. 99% of it is still when you're driving. Would you watch a show where a billionaire CEO has to go an entire month on their lowest paid employee's salary without access to any other resources than that of the employee? What do you think would happen? I personally don't give a show. Not everything needs to be a show. Maybe, I don't know, let's force these guys to go to psychiatrists. Maybe they'll be a little bit more empathetic. Anyway, what does Reddit say? I doubt a month is enough to really feel the effect. Yeah, 1 month. They might make it 1 month, like by the skin of their teeth and be like, this is fine. I don't need to eat. They don't know what it's really like after a month. They would need several months, at least, to fully understand the implications and what it means. And a camera team changes everything. I won't trust doing business with a random nobody, but a guy in a suit with a whole production team following him? That's a different story. That's why reality shows are intrinsically just shows. It would be incredibly self-serving and boring. They would never truly experience what it is like to be in the precarious position of a minimum wage employee living hand to mouth, and the novelty is just salt in the wound. Playing up the struggles of real people for entertainment. I'm gonna be like a whore for a month. Check out my show. It would be more interesting to see the reverse. Why not both? Or trading places, as we called it back in the 80s. Watch Rich House Poor House on YouTube. The UK already has a show exactly like this. But is it good? That's always the real question at the end of the day. Is it worth the shit? Maybe. I might check it out. That does seem like an interesting premise. A trading places idea. Very interesting. There was this similar themed show in Hong Kong and mainland China a few years ago. They swapped billionaire with bottom feeders, let the rich do the basic job on the lowest salary to see how far the rich could go by purely their own effort. Nearly all of the billionaires admitted that they could not make it anywhere, regardless of how hard they worked, even working without sleeping and resting. It couldn't give you any accumulation to help climb to the higher level of society. There was only despair and admission that the divide between the poor and the rich is already a deep valley, and mere personal effort makes little sense. It stirred a big debate among the society back then, and I think that was part of the reasons the show got canceled. There was also another show in China, swapping senior political figures with community-level council workers to see how good they could do in each other's posts. The mayors were flooded by angry mobs who kept asking for more and more benefits that were impossible to fulfill. By the end, they had to admit that the amount of work at basic community level was too much to achieve anywhere. The show also also got canceled quite soon after a few episodes. Interesting. 3 months minimum, and I'd watch it. Thanks for the gold. With problem scenarios thrown in. Broken down car, tube strike, dodgy boiler, sick child. The wheels would come off pretty quickly. Don't forget the pay rent or buy food dilemma scenario. It's more than just the money. It's the lack of security these people endure. Not knowing if you'll lose your job tomorrow and having no savings, being kicked out of your home, an unexpected bill you can't afford, which may lead to increasing debt. Putting these rich people in a poor lifestyle for a month isn't enough. Even if they lost their money and homes, they'll still have such a huge network that they'll be back on their feet in the time it takes for us peons to earn enough money to eat for a week. They can never truly understand what it's like to be poor or ever face that reality again. So what would happen? It'd be a completely self-serving advert about how, now I realize we need to do more for our employees. The workers get a small vanity bonus, probably give an immigrant worker with limited English a car, pat themselves on the back, and then 2 weeks later we've all forgotten about the show, and they'll go back to their old ways. What if Earth is like one of those uncontacted tribes in South America? Like the whole galaxy knows we're here, but they've agreed not to contact us until we figure it out for ourselves. The way I see it, and this is going to sound sad, I guess, knowing how far away everything is from each other, and knowing that faster than light travel or meaningful travel around the galaxy or universe is literally never going to be physically possible, but we will never see them, they will literally never see us. It's not physically possible within the confines of the universal laws. I'm sure that someone will correct me on that. I'm actually kind of being so staunch in that opinion because I hope somebody goes, hey, wait a minute, buddy. Wait a minute. No, we might. I don't think so, but that's just kind of the reality of the situation as far as I can tell, is it's never going to be possible to contact, let alone meet each other. And crop circles are just teenager aliens doing graffiti. I really love the idea of irresponsible teenager aliens. Maybe we're the irresponsible teenager aliens, and when we die, you'll look down and see some weird bong-like device between your knees, then look up, surrounded by your alien homies. They're all smiling at you, and one asks, how was the trip, bro? Did you conquer civilizations and shit? And then you tell them, nah, I just worked a 9 to 5, got married, and had kids. Then they all laugh and think you're a loser. I feel like that was also a game in Rick and Morty. That's the premise of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, except for the waiting for us to figure it out part. Mostly harmless. No, I don't think we're mostly harmless. I do not believe that. I mean, we could always just be cosmic ants. How often do you go out to your garden and try to communicate with the bugs? So, the prime directive? We just need to create warp drive. Paging Zephram Cochrane? What if aliens showed up here millions of years ago, saw a planet inhabited by enormous lizard monsters, and said, don't come back to this place? They'd have been like, oh, this isn't done. Leave it on high for a while longer. Then they come back down and be like, damn it, it's full of mold. They probably treat us like animals on National Geographic. Attention, unidentified spacecraft. You're approaching the planet Terra. Terra has been designated a primitive wildlife zone and has been designated off limits to interstellar travelers by the Galactic Council. Cut engines and prepare to be boarded. Failure to comply with this demand will result in hostile action. I feel like no matter what, any ultra-advanced civilization is going to be just as warmongering and destructive as we are. What if the people that were abducted by aliens were actually abducted by some alien TV host equivalent to the Crocodile Hunter, where he abducts a human and shows it off? Crocky, what an interesting little fella this is. I'm gonna buy a bigger anal probe. Oh, he's angry. What if God came down one day and said, it's pronounced Jod, then left? I wouldn't be paying attention to Jod. I would be paying attention to the fact that you're f***ing real? Come back. Hey, wait, what's going on? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you could help with anything? What if Jod was one of us? Just a knob like one of us. A large chunk of my taking the Lord's name in vain would go away. Ah, that's a good point. I've been doing it a little since the name change here. Jod knows what was in your heart when you said it. Jod, damn it. Oh, for Jod's sake, I would be converted. Edit. Thanks for the upvotes and awards, guys. A lot of people are focusing on the pronunciation part while overlooking that it would confirm God exists. Edit. Multiple people replying saying that it would confirm Jod exists. No, it wouldn't. It would still be spelled God, just pronounced differently than we thought, right? What if Satan came down one day and said it's pronounced Zlatan and then left? Zlatan means golden in some. Is it Zlatan or Zlatan? Gold is money, root of all evil. Satan. See? There you go. I recognize the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid-ass decision, I've elected to ignore it. Then all of Scandinavia will pronounce it like Yod, and the Spanish will pronounce it like Hod. This then pisses some people off because Jod is also how you pronounce dirt. I see. This would basically just throw the biggest monkey wrench possible into the gears of civilization as we know it. You'd have different religious factions arguing that they're right and the other is wrong. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. You mean to tell me that even if Jod, him or herself, comes down from the heavens and tells us something. It's not gonna solve a single problem and will probably make everything worse. Anthony Bourdain once said, "There's a guy in my head, and all he wants to do is lay in bed all day long, smoke, and watch old movies and cartoons." My life is a series of stratagems to avoid and outwit that guy. Who is that guy for you, and what do you do to avoid him? Honestly, my guy wants to feel bad for himself. My guy wants all of you to feel bad for him because he doesn't want to take any responsibility. He doesn't want to take his life into his own hands. He does not want to actually do the work necessary to make his dreams come true. That's what that guy is doing. I make sure he doesn't stay around long. I try any creative effort, any outlet that will cause that current iteration of that guy to spill out of my being so that that iteration of him can die. But that's kind of what I'm doing here. Every time I write a poem, every time I try to make a video over on my personal channel called Robin Nelson that you guys should be, subscribing to, that is what I'm doing. Just by simply getting your grievances out of your body and out of your brain, you will feel better. That's why therapy's so nice. I hate mornings. I don't like waking up. I don't like breakfast as a genre or activity. I don't see a good reason to be anywhere before 10 a.m. I started forcing myself to wake up early and go to the gym before work, and I hate it so much, but it makes me feel so goddamn good all day long. It's a shitty, healthy dose of morning endorphins that stops me from getting sleepy after lunch, keeps me energized after work, and gets me a better night's sleep. It sucks so much, and it sucks even more that it improves every aspect of my day, because now if I stop, I know I'll just start having bad days again, and it'll be my dumbass, lazy fault with a simple fix. The guy wants to settle for anything out of fear of nothing becoming or nothing better coming later. That guy is okay with the dead-end job, the abusive relationships, and no master's degree. I tell that guy, it's never gotten me anywhere. It's the definition of stuck, and I have no intention of being stuck anymore. That guy's kicking my ass right now. You gotta fight back, man. He's a lazy stoner. He can't be that good of a fighter. This was somehow insanely philosophical to me. I used to have a little sign on my desk that said the worst possible feeling is when the person you are meets the person you could have been. It was there to encourage to pursue my goals rather than to procrastinate on games, Reddit, etc. I think it's time I dug that sign out again. Ouch. Worse than that Ben Franklin quote. A man can die at 25 and not be buried until he's 75. Man, funeral companies were hella inefficient back then. The guy wants to go streaking during the Super Bowl halftime show. I avoid him by remembering that prison is not a pleasant place to be. That guy's cousin lives in my head. I go to AA meetings to avoid and outwit him. Ah, yeah, there you go. We came to an agreement and take turns occupying the same body. It's me from 5:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays. He gets evenings, weekends, and holidays. There you go. Sometimes it's not inherently an evil guy in there. Just, a guy that lets you be, I guess, a more chill version of you. All that guy wants to do is do Reddit and play video games. I don't do anything to avoid him. Oh, that's great. That's great. Bill Gates said, "I will always choose a lazy person to do a difficult job because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it." What's a real life example of this? I was working as a stock boy in a supermarket and we had to fill the milk cooler. People would just bust open a 12-pack of milk cartons and put them in one by one. On my first day, I just placed the 12-pack in the cooler, cut the plastic off of one side with my box cutter and yanked it from under it. And the look of the store manager and other employees who was training me was pure bewilderment. From that day, everyone did it my way. Worked as a laborer at a nursery one summer. Daily tasks included manually watering 15,000 plants each day. Put together a back-of-the-napkin plan to build an irrigation system and spent the next few weeks building it with some money from the boss. That system is still running 15 years later and does all the work now. I did automate myself out of the job and had to find another eventually. A couple years later, got my engineering degree. I'm convinced engineers are inherently lazy people that will spend a disproportionate effort to make things easier. Yes, engineers make the thing work better, and the artists make their thing look a little bit nicer. The clerk was asked to bring 145 white papers into the office. He doesn't want to count the papers manually, so he printed 145 blank sheets and took them in. When Carl Friedrich Gauss, the famous German mathematician and physicist, was in elementary school around 1784, his class was assigned the busy work task of adding all the numbers from 1 to 100, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and so on. This usually kept the class quiet for a half an hour or so. 7-year-old Carl was sitting quietly with the correct answer, 50-50, while the rest of the class was just starting. So the surprise teacher asked him how he came up with a solution. He replied that he added 1 and 100 and got 101. Then he added 2 and 99 and got 101. 3 plus 98 equals 101, and so on. He realized there was a pattern of 50 pairs of numbers, with each pair adding up to 101. And 50 times 101, 50-50. I plug clocks in at midnight, so they're already set. Oh, that's good. Trip the main fuse in the house at midnight to do all the appliances too. Ah, Nice. I see what you guys got going on. An older company had a person dedicated to data entry, which boiled down to copying and pasting portions of data from text files into spreadsheets and formatting it into a report. The person originally doing this job spent a full 40+ hours a week doing it, but was not very computer literate. When they retired, the company hired someone with actual skills. The new hire convinced management to let her work remotely after getting up to speed on the job. The first week at home was spent automating the entire job. The remainder of their multi-year tenure with the company was spent doing whatever they wanted, save the 10 to 15 minutes weekly to run their program and to answer the odd email here and there, all while getting paid full salary and benefits. They actually had to add in a few errors now and then to make it seem realistic. Having to add problems. That's cute. I worked goods in for an aircraft manufacturer as a summer job at university. Parts would arrive, we'd open them, and key in all the details into a terminal. That bit was long-winded. I discovered the terminal keyboard has assignable shortcuts and set up a bunch of them for all the boilerplate, such as that keying in an item was about 6 keystrokes. Saved myself and my workmate hours every day, which we would spend pranking each other, other warehouse staff, and staff at other sites. Back in high school, a lot of kids used to walk through this park to get to home or school. A portion of the path went into the woods because it was just quicker than walking the actual trail. At one point in the walk to the woods, you had to go up this small but tedious hill. Nothing major, but it took like 10 seconds of hard work to go up. You couldn't go around because on one side was a small cliff to the creek below, and the other side had dense trees. One summer, a bunch of us got together and decided to just dig through that hill to make it flat. It took like 14 of us 3 good days to get through it. It was a hard 3 days, but it was worth it. Saved 10 seconds of hill climbing every morning and afternoon, 150+ days of the year, and it wasn't just us, but hundreds of other kids who took the same part every day. Sometimes you need to put in a lot of work so your future selves can enjoy the easy way out. Some future railroad surveyors right here. Which legendary Reddit post or comment can you still not get over? Me personally, I still can't get over EA's reaction to people complaining about Battlefront 2's, Star Wars Battlefront 2's monetization system. That was amazing. There was this post on r/awe of a gorilla using sign language to tell people not to feed it or something to that effect. To this day, I still laugh when I think about a comment that said, "It's a shame there's so many deaf gorillas." This one guy was on the toilet and he sneezed while he was taking a shit. That same moment, the power in his house went out. He proceeded to cry because he thought he shit himself blind. That would scare me for just the briefest of moments. Someone in r/homeowners trying to get rid of ants in their house. Tons of comments. One fellow Redditor suggested maybe there were no ants, but they were hallucinations due to carbon monoxide poisoning. OP had his house tested and turns out there were in fact no ants and he was hallucinating them due to carbon monoxide poisoning. For the love of God, no matter where you live, please have at least one carbon monoxide alarm on each floor of your home. Believe I saw it on Reddit, an IT tech-related post. Guy starts a new job as a system admin. No other IT at the place. Previous admin had been there for just about fucking forever and left behind some documentation, but not enough to make the job easy. The guy finds a note from the previous tech with a few miscellaneous tips and then says, if there is a critical emergency and everything else has failed, there is a box in the server room behind the switch, open only as a last resort. Guy's there for a few years. Metaphorical fires get fixed. He learns the tricks of the place, but one day the server doesn't boot. Tries everything, can't get it to work. All the files are there. The company can't function. Actual fires are about to start. Guy freaks out and remembers the emergency box and figures now should be an emergency and figures maybe the guy left access into offsite backups or something. Well, behind the switch is a box. He pulls it out and opens it to find a bottle of tequila. Thank goodness. Honestly, no. I would, if I were this guy coming in, if I'm the incumbent sysadmin, I'm going to figure out what that box is the second I read about it. I'm not going to wait until, cool, now I'm fucking fired, to pull out a bottle of tequila. Like, it's a funny joke, but I feel like this guy lost his job immediately.